Hello, guys, and welcome here to Out of Turn 4, our show here on Tinkle Sports, all about racing. I'm Brian here. Let's get going, but before we do, we're going to just go over this. So, coming up on the show, we are going to recap the Indianapolis 500. We are also going to talk NASCAR Charlotte and some rumors coming out of 2311 Racing. You won't want to miss all that. But let's start out with the Indianapolis 500, of course, by far the biggest race of the year, the biggest party since COVID, and of course, the greatest spectacle in racing. Of course, early on, Scott Dixon got the pole, a lot of brake checking on the pit lane. Things just did not go well for Dixon, and a lot of guys were sliding their tires. It seems like a lot of teams either didn't put enough pressure on the, like put enough brake bias in or something. But it was, to me, one of the more entertaining races. And of course, I think I speak for a lot of people. Probably everyone watching the Indy 500, I would even say. Almost everybody watching the Indy 500 when I say that I was screaming at the top of my lungs rooting for Elio at the end there. And he did it. Elio Castroneves finally joins Rick Mears, I believe Al Unser, and AJ Foyt. He joins one of the Unsers and AJ Foyt. I know, I host a racing show. I should know this. But he is now tied with them for the most Indy 500 wins all time. And, I gotta say, first off, that race was phenomenal, okay? This is the Indy 500 that we have waited for a long time. The fastest one on record, and it more than made up for last year's shortened race because of the caution ending race. Of course, if you remember, Spencer Pigot slammed the pit wall, destroyed a bunch of barriers, and it ended the race because IndyCar could not red flag it. It was too late in the day. IndyCar made up for it today with probably the best show in the Indy 500 that it's been in a long time. I think it's the best one. See, I didn't really like the Pagenaud one. I would say I'd have to go back to Alexander Rossi, honestly. But it's the first time where we have a winner that it's not, everyone can appreciate this winner. Okay, if you aren't rooting for Elio to be successful, if you weren't rooting for Elio in that race, what was wrong with you? The man lives and breathes IndyCar. He has since the day he came into the sport. He did when he left to join IMSA, and he still does. He's a guy who has unending passion for this series and the fans and the fellow competitors, and he embodies everything that IndyCar is. If you don't like him, I don't know what to tell you, honestly. I mean, then you're not a true IndyCar fan at the end of the day. He is IndyCar, okay? And he has been for a while. So with that, I will say, I enjoyed this race a lot. I missed the first half, unfortunately, because of work, but I did watch the highlights of the first half of the race. I was entertained. To say the least. I was very entertained when I got home, and man, I kid you not, the last few laps, my whole family, we were just on the edge of our seats watching that. This is what we've been wanting from the Indy 500 the last few years, and I'm deeply regretting it because I normally take, so full disclosure, I normally take the Sunday of Memorial Day off so that way I can watch the race, partially because of that and other things going on, but mostly to watch the race. And needless to say, I regret it. Okay, I regret not taking the time off this year. This one was better than 2020. It was better than 2019. It's the best one NBC has ever had, frankly. And I hope the ratings, when they do come out, I hope they show for it. But you got to feel for Alex Palou. And Alex Palou is the points leader now after Indianapolis. Of course, Indianapolis is a double points race. And he is now the points leader. No sophomore slump there. That's all I can say. He ran very well. Pato Award, he ran very well. And actually, I'm going to quickly just pull out my phone, pull up the results here, so that way I can go through and kind of just tell you guys my thoughts. So, of course, Elio's the winner. Alex Palou came in second. And, up till that final, 10 laps or so, he had the strongest car, I think. Okay. Then you've got Simon Pagenaud. He was coming on strong late, but once he caught the 10 and the 5, he just hit a brick wall. I don't know what happened. He just stalled out. Fourth place was Pato Award. Pato ran a very good race. He was by far, I think I'd be as bold to say he was the strongest Chevrolet in the entire race, even stronger than Pagenaud. So the best Chevy didn't finish as the best Chevy at the end of the day. Ed Carpenter, he was looking strong late. He came home 5th. Santino Ferrucci came home in 6th. How's about this for a surprise? Sage Karam, he was in the last row shootout. Wasn't sure if he was going to make the race. I was hesitant to say if he was or not on Sunday when that last row shootout happened. And somehow he sneaks his way in and he gets 7th. He's a guy who... Sage Karam is a guy who deserves another shot to race. Not maybe full-time, maybe 3 or 4 other races, and I hope Dreyer and Reinbold can secure that sponsorship so he can go racing. I'm glad they still have that long-standing partnership between each other. They're Renus VK, he comes home in 8th. Of course, he led 32 laps in the race, and he ran pretty well, I think. Juan Pablo Montoya was, I think, the biggest surprise in the top 10 outside of Elio winning the race. I was not very high on Montoya entering. If you remember last show, I was not very high on Montoya, to say the least. Tony Kanaan finished in 10th, and he underwhelmed at the end of the day. He really underwhelmed in that race. I just don't think he found what he was looking for early, and it really hurt him. Number 11 was Marcus Ericsson in the number 8. I had no comment. Just, he was about where he deserved to finish. 12th was Joseph Newgarden. The fact that 2 of the Penske cars were top 15, let alone one of them on the podium, was remarkable because they shouldn't have been there. Connor Daly in 13th, and this is the guy, Connor Daly, you just got to feel for him. Every single time it seems like he either starts up front or has a good race. He had the worst month of May, the worst luck in the month of May of anybody, I think. He got punted on lap 1, turn 1 in the Indy GP. He gets hit by a tire, just miraculously fell out of the sky and killed his day. I thought he also had one of the stronger cars in the race. Takuma there, just off-sequence strategy didn't work for him. He finishes 14th. J.R. Hildebrand was a surprise in 15th. He was another one I was fringe if he was going to get into the top 29 or top 30 to avoid having to race in. But he did it. Colton Herta, 16th. I'm kind of disappointed with that. I thought he'd be one of the guys on the podium. Scott Dixon, pole sitter, 17th. Jack Harvey in 18th. Marco Andretti in 19th. Scott McLaughlin in 20th. And on down the list, I'm just going to read off some of the big names here. RHR, not shocked, to say the least. Let's see, Sebastian Bourdais. I thought maybe we would see something out of Sebastian. It just didn't happen. And Felix Rosenquist also had a very, very strong Indy 500 race trim. But unfortunately on that off sequence of stops, it really just killed him. Alexander Rossi in 29th, he's just a hot mess, to say the least. That man is a hot mess over at Andretti. Simona De Silvestro finishes 31st. About where I expected after qualifying. Say the least, though, it's still applaudable that they made the field. You can give them an applause for the fact they made the field. They competed. They had a mostly female crew over there. So I got to give them props. We need more of this in IndyCar. These feel-good stories especially. Ray Hall finishes 32nd. I believe he got caught up in a wreck. Actually, he did, and that's what caused the issue with the nose for Connor Daly. I skipped over Will Power. He finished 30th. To be honest, the fact that he ran up as high as top 15 shocked me because it is so hard to pass, but it looks like they figured it out over there. But again, back to Helio Castroneves again. I just want to touch up on one more thing with Helio. So Paul Tracy and Townsend Bell, of course, if you don't know them, they're in the booth with Lee Diffie every single IndyCar race. I don't think Paul Tracy is this year. I think he's done for the year other than one more race. I think he's doing Long Beach. But nonetheless, they both brought up a good point. Phil Mickelson, Tom Brady, Helio Castroneves, the ageless wonders this year. It's been the year of old. And they put out a message to owner Mike Shank, said, dude, give him a full-time opportunity. Let him run the rest of the year. And let him run all next year. And frankly, I agree. Helio should have... See, my thoughts on Helio is he should have never left the sport to begin with. Okay, he's been on our last channel, the channel before Tinkle Sports here, SCN, I stated as well, Helio deserves to be in a full-time ride. He is a hot free agent item. He was the best free agent last season, and frankly, I'm shocked he didn't get a full-time ride. Okay? Because again, he was still at the prime of his career when Penske just sent him out to IMSA. He sent the wrong driver out. He should have sent out Will Power or Simon Pagenaud. I'm sorry. I like Will Power. I don't mind Simon Pagenaud, but those guys just... I'm sorry. To me, Will Power is past his prime. That's all I'm going to say. Will Power is past his prime until he proves me wrong. Okay, he's still good for one win a year, but that's about it. He's never in the championship battle. He's never, winning the big races. So, to say the least, he's washed up, I think. I wouldn't even say washed up, just past his prime. And Simon Pagenaud is just, again, he's so fringe good or fringe bad. He's not consistent. So, that's all I got to say about Indy. Let's move on to NASCAR at Charlotte. John Hunter Nemechek, he wins the truck race at Charlotte. Just full disclosure, I didn't watch any of these races, but I did read a lot of reviews on Charlotte race weekend. Of course, Johnny Sauter got in a big wreck in that truck race. I'm hoping he's okay. Ty Gibbs won the NASCAR Xfinity race at Charlotte on Saturday in an unsponsored car. All I gotta say, I didn't watch any of the races, so I'm just gonna say my thoughts here. Ty Gibbs won without sponsorship. I don't know how he doesn't have sponsorship, to say the least. I know how he got his ride, because you want to know what? If he had no sponsorship and he went to if Joe Gibbs wasn't his grandpa, I don't think he would have been in that ride. Okay? There's no way that Joe Gibbs would have put a blank 54 on the track. I'm shocked that Toyota didn't step up to back him. Just something weird going on there, to say the least. And then, of course, Kyle Larson swept the stages, all 3 stages, and won the race in the Coca Cola 600. I'll just hold back, or I'm not going to hold back my opinion here. The Coca Cola 600 the last few years has been a flat out dud. It is the most, to me, it is the most dreadful part of Memorial Day. You get off this high of watching a phenomenal Indy 500 just to sit there and watch 400 laps of barely any passing, a guy sweeping the stages. The Charlotte Oval sucks ass. Let's put it that way. The Charlotte Oval, and this is an unpopular opinion, but it sucks ass. It should be removed from the schedule, but unfortunately, I got to think realistically here, and it's never going to happen. Okay? It's the home of NASCAR. It'll never happen. But again, the Coca-Cola 600's been a dud for the last few years. That's all I'm going to say about it. I think it's been a flat-out dud. So, just take the L, okay? Let me put it this way. I'd rather watch a fully great Indy 500 that ends under caution than watch a Coca-Cola 600. I didn't even flip it on. The last few years, the way that Coca-Cola 600's gone, they need to make some changes over there, to say the least. And maybe we're just spoiled by the Charlotte Roval, but this track is not as entertaining now. There's some other news that came out this week from The Athletic. Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, they are reportedly going to expand to a 2-car team, and the driver is rumored right now, keyword rumored, to be Kurt Busch. He might drive a 45 car, he might drive a 32 car, I don't know. Hell, he could drive any number really, but my guess would be 32 and 45. But he is expected to go to 2311 Racing next season. I like this move because you want to know what? It brings in a veteran presence. I like this from the fact of there's a veteran presence in the garage for Bubba Wallace. It's a good presence for Toyota, and he's a guy who can give instant feedback to a young team. Let's face it, they have been the overhyped new team this year because look at how well Trackhouse has done. Live Fast we knew was going to be a back marker. Okay, if you didn't think Live Fast Motorsports was going to be a back marker, I don't know what you've been smoking at that point. But 2311, they need a lot of help over there. Let's face it, these haters, these Bubba haters, first off, he's living rent-free in your head, guys. Hate to break it to you. Bubba Wallace is living rent-free in your head. It doesn't, to me, what's going on with Bubba isn't totally on him as it is, I just think there's growing pains, of course, with the new team. It's not his fault that Trackhouse and Justin Marks and Daniel Suarez have hit it off. Okay? It's not his fault they all hit it off from the start. So, again, Rome wasn't built in a day. Trackhouse is going to hit struggles too. Okay? It's just the nature of the game when you're a brand new team. So, again, I'm saying relax, as Aaron Rodgers would say. Probably not now since he's panicking to get out of Green Bay, but we'll save that for Sunday's show. Alright, we're on to the part of the week where I make my picks. Starting off with the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Mid Ohio. AJ Allmendinger's my easy pick right there. I would not rule out Austin Cindric or Justin Allgaier, but I think that's essentially anytime we go to a road course, unless Kyle Busch is entered, it's a three-man race. So it's going to be between Allmendinger, Allgaier, and Austin Cindric, but I think this is where A.J. Allmendinger comes out on top. NASCAR Cup Series at Sonoma. You know, some people have told me just hand chase the win, but I gotta disagree here. I don't think you can hand chase the win. I mean, I'm gonna pick Chase Elliott, but I will say I think it's going to be a tough challenge from the three Joe Gibbs guys that can run really well on road courses. Mainly, though, two of them, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch. I think they are going to challenge Chase Elliott this weekend. I think he's going to get a real good challenge from him, especially because I'm sure Kyle is upset that that race went the way it did at Circuit of the Americas. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to carry on much longer. I'm exhausted, guys. I'm not sure if you can tell, but thank you guys for watching. If you like what you saw, please be sure to give this video a like. Be sure to subscribe, and we will be back next Tuesday. But otherwise, tune in for the Tinkle Roundtable. I believe we're going to try to do one for tomorrow. We'll see. If not, tune in on Sunday for Tinkle Sports Talk. By the way, we're going to be live on Sunday, most likely. Stay tuned for any updates in our Discord and on social media. We will update you if we decide to do a live show. So stay tuned. Of course, it would be next day audio. But to say the least there, anyway, we want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you real soon. Till then, guys, goodbye, everyone.